somebody. Nina, you shoplifted. Can we tone it down? All of that.
Damn. And she said no. Nina, you SA'd somebody. That in itself. Hey, you sexually assaulted somebody. We just want you to keep it. We just want you to keep it down a little bit. We just want you to keep it down. You sexually assaulted somebody, and then you went to go steal. Nina Lynn is allergic to accountability. Video by Omeezy. Y'all remember when Nina was stealing stuff? And we was like, yo, get that bit. We gotta kick her off Twitter. And then she was banned and she was touching people apparently and all this and that. Remember that whole saga? It was like, dang, she really trying to lose every position, all the money. She thinks she's being famous when she's really infamous. Y'all remember that? She didn't know the difference. She thought it was the same thing. Turns out, apparently, she's kicked from a group called O3, a group that I never even knew existed. I didn't know Edward So was in the group. Without further ado, hype the video up. Let's get straight into it. But guess what? You better subscribe.
She been comment me.
Last October, there was a lot of instances that happened with our group member, Nina.
Yo, you might be fucking retarded, bro. Are you good in the head? Take it off. Hey, yo, cut the cameras. Yo, cut the cameras, bro. Don't do your shit.
You know, one of the things that made it hard for us to continue as a group was that it always had to be her way. And it would always be, well, I'm gonna do with me. Time and time again, like, hey, you know, we are trying to hold what we thought was a friend accountable, and that friend says,
you know what's real crazy? I used to see the videos, because I don't know who this guy is right here. Probably a cool dude. I know Edward So. He used to be fun, you know, Diva. He get deeper, you know. So I know Edward So. When I seen Nina and him, I used to be like, and with all this going on, I used to be like, in the moment, I used to be like, dang, why is he making videos with her? Does he not know what she just did? Does she not? I'm like, she's not a good person. She tripping. She don't seem like a good friend. She's this, she that. I'm like, bro, why is he like? And I kept seeing shorts with her in it. I kept seeing shorts or like videos or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was shorts I was seeing, like skits. I'm like, why you keep? I guess that was just his friend, so he was trying to hold her down. And enough was enough, and it came this way. Gang, you should listen to me, Eddie.
not being friends because we're trying to hold them accountable.
Well, I darn near forgot about Nina Lynn, but it seems as though the rain is continuing to pour on her. Just a year ago, she seemed to have one of the most bubbling and bright careers in the new streaming era. Collaborations with Agent, appearances on Streamer University, connections with the FaZe guys, and she had a consistent group channel, O3, that was actually doing very, very well with some very, very prominent members. But within a year, all of that went away, and it was due to one thing and one thing only: her inability to hold herself accountable for her actions, apologize, do the work, and ultimately move on. So when her group decided to put out a video talking about how they decided to part ways from her, I thought it would be a perfect time to teach the lesson that you cannot escape your digital footprint. And at the end of the day, accountability trumps all.
I disagree. I feel you can. It just depends on how bad your digital footprint was. Because if you think about it, I can do some nutty stuff on social media today, and the amount of other people that are going to bury my nutty behavior to the point where in a year from now, y'all might not even remember. Y'all probably seen some outrageous, egregious stuff in the past, like a past year, that you can't even remember right now. You like, no, and I don't remember. No, you have. You just don't remember. You've seen some, you just don't remember. I thought you can. It just depends on if you're willing to change how trash of a person you was, like basically based on whatever you were put in for your digital footprint to be messed up, and how you kind of the decisions you make to navigate away from all of that. I feel all of those things go hand in hand. If you do 3 out of 3, I feel like you can move forward. If you don't, you kind of cooked and dead in water. I ain't gonna lie.
For me, the least you can do is click that little subscribe button down below. It will go a long, long way for this community. Now, back into the video. Like I said, Nina Lynn had a sweet deal. Most content creators have to come up by themselves, build their own audience, build their own brand. And not taking it away from her, she did that in her own regards. But she quickly was able to team up with 2 very solid YouTubers, Jimmy Zhang, who has 1 million subscribers, and Edward So, who basically has 1 million subscribers, in order to create a group channel called O3. They would do IRL IRL lifestyle content, dating style challenges, you know, the typical 20v1 AMP-esque videos. And this, coupled along with her appearances with people like Fan Fan or Wendy Ortiz, meant
I ain't gonna lie, they probably said, let's make a group and be like the Asian AMP house. And there's nothing wrong. That's a good idea. You gotta, because there's probably Asian people that can't really relate too much to AMP. Just like there's not a lot of black people that can relate to 2Hype. There's a white community / rich for 2Hype. There's a black community / urban for AMP. Now for 03, it probably is Asian and I don't know, it's probably like a middle ground.
Nina Lynn pretty much had a fast track to being one of the biggest names in not just streaming, but content creation as a whole. I think one very underrated thing about Nina is her background. I'm talking about her ethnicity, nationality, and her race. She was going to be somebody who was going to be able to resonate with a whole Eastern culture that those in the United States could not do. In fact, she acted as some sort of medium / translator for content creators in the past because they needed her to basically gain access to that whole culture that has billions of people in it. But instead of nurturing this opportunity that she had, Nina ultimately squandered it. Over the past year, Nina Lynn has been in controversy after controversy after controversy after controversy. And I'm not gonna go into super depth.
When she did that, you're cursing in front of my daughter, it's a public space. I said, yeah, she's popped from there. Yeah, you're done. You're done. She been done with me for a little minute, but like she was annoying. Actually, no, she wasn't done until that moment. When she did that moment and disrespected the kids and the parent is when I lost respect for her. And I see, yeah, now you're actually done. And I hope that you actually can't come back from it.
I've made plenty of videos, whether it be her just being a general nuisance at a nail salon, her in this kleptomania that she just has in her body, and definitely the Saeed situation where she not only participated in the essay, but also then went on to deny the essay over and over and over and over and over again. Now, off top, controversy isn't something that is like career ending. We've seen different content creators go through many different controversies, some that I would say are way worse than what Nina even went through, but have ultimately bounced back from those things. They've then gone on to have bigger, better, greater careers than even before they were in said controversy. But if I had to say the one thing that would define if you are going to bounce back and then bounce up out of this atmosphere, or bounce up and then bounce down through the floor when it comes to being a controversial figure, is one thing and one thing alone, and that's accountability for your actions.
Nina, you somebody. Nina, you shoplifted. Can we tone it down? All of that.
Damn. And she said, no, Nina, you essayed somebody. That in itself, hey, you sexually assaulted somebody. We just want you to keep it. We just want you to keep it down a little bit. We just want you to keep it down. You sexually assaulted somebody, and then you went to go steal. And then you started like, you're just a nuisance. Like, keep it down.
It's like in one ear out the other. Hey, maybe it's not okay to do that to a mom who's out in the salon or whatever. Maybe it's not okay to do that at Target. Maybe it's not okay to do that to a taxi driver. There's a lot of things that weren't okay, and it would always be, well, I'm gonna do with me. Time and time again, like, hey, we are trying to hold what we thought was a friend accountable, and that friend says we're not being friends because we're trying to hold them accountable.
Neither brown nor white sugar was involved in this coding because they kept it pretty straightforward. Nina Lynn is somebody that we don't have the same values, morals, and principles as, and therefore we are going to go ahead and sever ties with her. According to the two other members of the group 03, Nina Lynn constantly wanted to do things her way, was the loudest one in every single argument. She struggled to see other people's perspectives, and they could not come to an agreement on what they stood for. In other words, it wasn't just one mistake, but it was the problem as to how she handled every single mistake. Shameless plug, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record every single time I say this, but you know, some people don't know that I did these things in my past, and also I like to give my real world experience as to how things go on behind the scenes. But I did work for a big group, one of the biggest groups on the internet right now. I'll give you a little bit of secret. It's 3 letters. It features AMP, 6 guys. AMP. And I'm
not gonna lie, when I used to see Omeezy on AMP, I used to get so hot, so tight. Like, I used to actually get mad. Like, man, fuck this nigga. Because he used to be like the judge. And every time I wanted somebody to win, this was a minute ago. He used to work at AMP. From my recollection, it was like 2021, like 2021, 2020, like 21, 22. I think it was 2021 or somewhere around that time. I don't know. I remember watching the videos, and every time he came, I'm like, bro, he just be picking the wrong people, and he was just mad annoying to me. And I never knew Lo was his brother. And then look how we are here, full circle. Look, we are here, full circle. He don't work with them no more. He got his own shit. He got his own shit.
Have a current podcast, which is essentially a group channel as well, where I have 2 other co-hosts. And I'm here to tell you that the behind the scenes things that O3 said that they struggled with Nina Lynn are things that happen in every single group. There's constantly gonna be bickering. There's gonna be people who are super creative trying to come to one conclusion, and somebody's gonna be very loud in the conversation as to why their POV is the better way to go in this particular time. And as far as vision goes, hell, life changes those things. So oftentimes people aren't aligned as to what they're gonna do in the next year, 2 years, or hell, 6 months even. But at the end of the day, the reason why AMP is still around, my podcast, the Let's Keep It a Buck podcast is still around, the Sidemen are still around, or any other group content is still around is because
You gonna say what's the one with Chunks? What's one with them? They're wait, they're not the Sidemen. They're I don't know. That's a funny group though. I ain't gonna lie.
Accountability and compromise are something that continuously happen in those organizations. And I don't even have to be a part of them to know that. So if I think the thumbnail needs to be red and my podcast mate Bezos thinks the podcast needs to be blue, ultimately somebody needs to come to a compromise. And it can't always be my way or the highway.
Man.
Otherwise, it's not a group channel. It's somebody's solo project with some reoccurring castmates. And if you're gonna do that, gang, then I might as well stay on my own damn platform and do whatever I want to do. No, that's just the surface level stuff. There's also the fact that there's an accountability issue every time that Nina Lynn gets into some sort of scandal. Here's the truth about the internet. Creators can survive just about anything, any situation, any sorts of adversity, any bad problems, as long as they are self-aware about how they participated in that action. We've seen public mistakes, bad behavior, bad tweets, scandals, the list goes on and on and on.
Honestly, if we being real, it's not hard. It should be kind of like, well, it's not hard to get canceled. They try and cancel you for everything, but as long as you come out and you say, like, you're not doing nothing crazy, maybe you made a mistake. Now these mistakes can be big or little, but like if you're making mistakes and you come out and you acknowledge it, you take accountability and just say, yeah, my fault. I didn't really know what I was saying at the time, or you know what, I was tripping when I was yelling at bro, or you know, you say whatever you gotta say, then you move on, and it's a big thing or whatever, and you come back from that. It's hard to really fuck up. It's really hard to mess up. Like, the issue is people be having these moral high grounds where it's, oh, well, like this superiority complex where they're like, well, I technically didn't even say what you guys are saying, and I didn't do what you guys think I did. I know why I said it and what it meant to me, but you guys are taking it. Nigga, shut up. Just apologize and come back from it next week. And 2 weeks from now, you'll be regular. It's just news. We all looking for news. Look, now we talking about her on this right here. Now we talking about her. She got us some clicks.
Hell, I even think it's a problem in today's society that we are so forgiving, but that's just the reality of what it is. But the problem is when faced with those things that I just mentioned, if you're arrogant and your ego is forthcoming in all of these situations, then you're not gonna have a bunch of fans who will support you going forward. And these are some of the criticisms of Nina Lynn as told by others. She dismisses backlash, she calls critics soft, she refuses to apologize, and oftentimes she doubles down in said behavior.
I be holding Ron accountable for shit. I be holding the Dap accountable for shit. They be holding me accountable for shit. As a group, you gotta come together, hold each other accountable. And sometimes you're not always right, man. And selfish people in a group would never work out, man. Facts.
You would never see me in a car with Jason Lewine. I promise.
I get that. You beef with him too?
No, he beef with me. I don't beef with him. Because everyone's bitch made. What do you want me to do? You bitch made. It is what it is, bro. Like, what do you want me to do? I can't lie.
Stuff like that is where the controversy stops being entertaining and starts becoming exhausting. When you start to be known for things like that, then ultimately people are gonna want to move away from you. They're not gonna want to hang out with you.
I don't know how people are still like, how are you in the car with her making content with her? I don't know what his relation is with her, to her, but like everybody she come in contact with, she calling a bitch. Common denominator, Nina. everybody's an issue. So why are maybe people just really down bad? They really trying to get out the mud. Like, no one want to talk, like, want to collab with her. I'll do it because I got nobody right now, and I'm trying to make it. I need some eyes on me. Maybe that's why they're doing it. Other than that, I'm like, I mean, that's kind of selling your soul, ain't it?
Not only because their community has issue with you, you know, people don't like to continuously see these arrogant people, you know, be content creators, et cetera, especially because a lot of these content creators are fan funded in the first place. Like the subscriptions and the watch time is all done by fans. Why would I want to watch somebody who is some sort of arrogant asshole? But also other content creators will move away from you because you're annoying and the fan perspective is just lost. You slowly start to burn those bridges over time. And then it becomes a sort of situation where people start to feel like they are guilty by association. And honestly, I think that that's a fair and valid criticism. I know that there's been some conversation about that this past weekend about hanging out with streamers who do controversial things as somebody who is a non-controversial streamer. But ultimately, people are going to start questioning who you align with as a content creator. If you're a controversial streamer and you keep going wild and you keep going crazy, somebody who is just a simple desktop reactor who is, you know, pretty nonchalant and chill is not going to want to be seen with you. Because if they are seen with you, audiences are going to start to speculate.
He was talking about me. Me and OBG go way back. Nonchalant, chill, desktop reactor. He was talking about me. I never get tired of hearing that.
In question where your values lie. This conversation to me isn't about shoplifting or arguments or viral clips or, you know, just the other outrageous and controversial things that people say. Everybody on the internet is not perfect. Hell, I do wild stuff, you know, from time to time. But at the end of the day, if you can acknowledge where you mess up, apologize for the things that you say, and then look to grow afterwards, then I think that everybody's okay with you being a simple human being. But if you double and triple down on those things, gaslight people, and then ultimately shit on not only just your fan base, but the other fan bases around you, that's when people have a problem. Now, do I think that this is the end of Nina Lynn? Absolutely not. Maybe for videos on this channel, unless she does some of the most absolute insane shit in the world, then of course I'm gonna get it off. I got a wedding to pay for. But I think even greater than her losing a couple of different fans or the commentators' POV where they're giving videos for Nina Lynn, I think she's losing something that is much more detrimental. That network that she...
I feel like, and we'll end it off right here, I feel like she kind of got lost in the sauce. Like, you wouldn't think that, and I feel like a lot of people feel like if they were given a chance and the opportunity, they would take it, and this wouldn't happen to them. But you don't know how you would respond when you making, I don't know, say you streaming, you doing all this work, walking around, live stream, everything. I'm just throwing numbers out there. You get $600 for this a month based off everybody. And maybe the clip. So let's say you make $1,000. You like, damn, I made like $1,000 on this. It's cool or whatever. Like, that's really good. I made $1,000 off just walking around and showing people and talking to people, and people know my face. But then say you did something on accident and you blew up, and that number from 1,000 go to 10. You getting 10 bands a month because you did one thing, and everybody's talking about it. So people are now tuning into you, either to hate or they're just engaging with your stuff a lot more. Your stuff, your clips are going viral. That, I feel like that entice you more to be on the edge and be like, I don't give up, and then you lose yourself going down that path. I think that's what happened with her. But hey, man, y'all let me know what y'all think. Hype the video up, please. I'm poor, man. I'm poor. Anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe. I love you to death. Bye. I'ma see y'all in the next one. I'm gone.